Hello, this is Carrie again, and I have another video for you today. Today, I will be talking about paper types and paper quality. This was a video that was requested, so let's get started. So I'm going to be talking specifically about Strathmore paper, mainly because I'm in America, and Strathmore papers do have a system that I find really fascinating, and that makes it really easy to select the kind of paper that you need. At least the quality wise, and in terms of the kind of paper that you need without too much trouble. Like it's a really good system. So what their system is they have numbers from 100 all the way up to 500 series. So you can see that every kind of paper that they sell will have a series number attached to it. You can see that this is the least. I think it should say here, but this is a 200 series. Unless I lost it where it said it, but this is 200 series, and 200 series is, I'm sitting here looking for it and it's right here. It's pretty obvious. 200 series is a skills practice paper. This is not for finished work. This is super inexpensive paper that usually come in larger quantities and also sometimes larger sizes than the other papers. The lowest number that they have is the 100 series, which is basically like children's practice paper. Super inexpensive, like larger quantities. But let me show you, this is their watercolor paper, and I want to show you this paper. I've used this paper for some reviews, but this paper it will take watercolor, but it does buckle relatively quickly. It doesn't lift well at all. So this is not going to be for, your finished works, but this is really a very good quality paper that you can use exactly for what they say, for practicing your skills, for improvement, for swatches, for that sort of thing. So this is what I have used. These are just various practice exercises that I have done in watercolor with this paper. And I really like it for that. And it comes in 30 sheets. These are the least expensive, I think. For these 30 sheets, I think it was like $5 or something, or even less, for this really nice quality, like watercolor paper, 140-pound watercolor paper. It's not gonna lift well. It's not, I don't think it's archival, or anything like that. But it's totally usable, and so I really like this paper. This 200 series. So if you want to, especially the watercolor one, so if you want inexpensive practice paper, this is definitely the way to go if you are in America. So then the next line that they have is the 400 series, and that's the line. There's a 300 series, but I don't have too many things in that 300 series, mostly because I feel like the 300 series, to me, with the exception of maybe like the canvas paper, was not a particularly good value. For a few bucks more, you can go up to the 400 series, and that's the series that I mainly use. I'm just getting out all the stuff that I have in the 400 series. So they have different kinds of paper, and it'll say which one it is. So this is the sketch paper. This is the watercolor paper. I'm going to show you what I have in here. This is also a sketch paper. I actually use this for notes for my reviews. So if you see me doing a review and you see me, writing stuff down, it's going to be in this 400 series sketch paper. I think this notebook with, 100 sheets, 200 pages was like $8 on Amazon or something like that. You could probably get it cheaper somewhere else. But this is the 400 series, the sketch paper for sketching. And they do a really good job of, when it says something is for sketch, that's what it's for. They do a really good job of telling you what things are for, and just being really, really good at describing. This is one that I have not used particularly often, but this is a smoother paper for drawings. 400 series also is what they consider the best. So you can use, finished works with 400 series paper. So that's what, so you can do with a 400 series paper, everything from sketching to finished work. This is for sketching. This is for drawing. So this is a little bit of a heavier weight paper. All their papers also tell you what weight they have. And by the way, I bought all of these books on like Amazon or Dick Blick or whatever. Like I wasn't sent any of these. But I just thought, people asked about them. They also will tell you the weight of the paper. So, for example, the sketch is going to be a 60 pound sketch paper, and the drawing paper is going to be 80 pounds. Whereas the watercolor paper is going to be, 140 pound. The toned gray paper, which is also going to be 80 pounds. I have found that this drawing paper, even though it's supposedly only for dry medium, if you're using like water soluble graphite, you can use on this paper. I've used it on this one. So there is that. So let me show you. So this one, I have used this one. This is toned. So I mainly use this one for when I'm doing reviews and I need to talk about the opacity of, white colored pencils or things like that. So for the opacity of different pencils, that's mainly what I used it for. So I haven't used this one that much, but you can see what you can do with that. And at some point I will do more actual toned sketching. But I have not used it for that. So let me move these over. These are the ones that I've talked about. This is the 400 series watercolor paper. This, a lot of their papers will come in. You can see the different kinds of binding too that they have. This is their spiral binding. This is their spiral binding. Hold on, let me show you. This 200 series comes tape bound, and they do have some of the other series that come tape bound. I don't like the tape bound because, as you can see, it comes apart. I prefer the spiral binding or the soft and hardcover, which is the last one we're going to talk about. But there is this spiral binding here. So there's so you can get different kinds of binding, you can get different kinds of sizes, as well as different qualities. And again, all of this is what I like about this is, for me as somebody who's not really an artist, is that it's very easy to like go to their website and figure out what I need for what I'm going to be doing. So the sketchbook is really good because when I do markings and I do make light sketches for review, this paper makes it really easy to do that with relative ease. So this is for an upcoming review of the Marco Ruffini pencils, and so this paper is really versatile paper that I can use with pen. I can use this paper, pencil, watercolor pencil, basically exactly what they say, all kinds of dry medium. So so that's what I like about this one. Mention the tone sketch, but I do want to talk to you at length about their 400 series watercolor paper, which is it's not the highest quality watercolor paper. There's no cotton in this paper. This is all synthetic paper, but it lifts well. It does all these other things really well. And so what I'm using it for here is for my swatch journal. So these are the swatches that I've done from all these different brands, from the mixing charts that I have done from all these different brands at various stages of completion. And then there's more room for more of them. So that's mainly what I've used this watercolor 400 series paper for. So once we're done with that, let's talk about the journals. They come in two different kinds. There is the soft cover, which is this cover, and this is a journal that was purchased for me by one of the fans. Let me show you. And then this is the hard cover, and you can get this in all sorts of different, there's a watercolor, this is a watercolor, this one is the watercolor, this one is the sketch, which I just got this in the mail today. I have not had a chance to play with it, but I did notice something about this that I'll talk about towards the end. And then this is the multimedia one. So there's the hard and the soft cover, but I want to talk about the watercolor first. Watercolor journals will by necessity have two, like there's like one side that is the regular watercolor paper, and there'll be a wrong side because of the way that watercolor paper is. So these are my sketches that I have done on this this was done with watercolor pencil. And I personally, even though I like the 400 series watercolor paper, I'm not a fan of either this particular, because The other thing is I feel like for some of their journals, they use slightly different paper for the notebooks than they do for the journals. So the spiral book, this is a different paper. These two are both 400 series watercolor paper, but the paper is different. I like this paper better. Neither one of these papers, have any cotton content, but I like this paper better. This paper, it's too different one side to the next, whereas in the regular journal paper, the paper is much more similar. This was done with the Albert Durr Magnus pencil, which I reviewed. There'll be a link to that up there. And this was also done with the Albert Durr Magnus pencil, which I didn't mention when I did the review. But it was. So I'm still in search for what I'm going to consider the perfect watercolor journal. But this is not it. But I will, finish this journal. And then when it's finished, I will do a walkthrough of this journal. This is interesting because this is a 500 series. So for their soft and hardcover art journals, some are 400 series, some are 200, some are 300 series, some are 400 series, and some are 500 series. This one is the 500 series mixed media paper, and I love this paper for water soluble pencil medium. So this was done with Inktense. These two was done with Inktense. I don't know if you recognize, that's baby Stewie up there. And this was done with water soluble graphite, and this was done with water soluble pencil. And both sides feel closer together than they do for the watercolor journal. But there is when you feel it, there is a slight difference in texture between the front and the back side, but they're much closer together. And this is also I think this is 100% cotton paper too. Once you get to the 500 series, I think all the 500 series are, so this is 100% cotton paper. So I think all the 500 series is also like premium for display kind of paper. And I really like this paper. So I'm curious. I'm going to get one of the other notebooks, and I'm curious to see if the other non-hardcover journals feature the same paper. But this is really nice paper. Last one, which I just got in the mail today, is hold on, let me get the other sketch. Okay, so these are the sketch. And these are both 400 series sketch paper. I don't think they're 100% cotton. Otherwise, it would say that they're 100% cotton. So I don't think they are. But I do notice almost instantly that the paper is different. The paper is different. The paper is smoother in the hardcover notebook than it is in the regular spiral notebook. This is a slightly more textured paper, and this is a slightly smoother paper, and I don't know what that's going to mean for the ultimate, when I'm done drawing, but I do believe that these are also double-sided too. So anyway, that's my brief intro into my Strathmore paper experience so far. If you've used any kind of the Strathmore papers, let me know down in the comments if there are any other brands of paper that you guys like. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and check out the Patreon. There'll be a link to Patreon up there as well as at the end of the video. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.